Welcome to Homebrewing with SD Shane Conley here. So right now on the stove you see this is my malt. It's come to a boil already, coming a little bit late into the process. So basically what we started is with a bag of grain here like this one. This is all the malt extract. There's some chocolate malt in there, there's some white malt, and there's some dark malt. And this is all crushed, and we add that and basically cook it kind of like tea. Kind of cook it over the side here and bring the water up to a boil. And once you do that, most of the sugar and flavor from the malt should be extracted into the water. And once we do that, we have that up to a boil. We add what used to be in here was a 5-gallon bucket of malt extract. So there's a total of, not a 5-gallon, excuse me, 5-pound malt extract there. So we have a total of about 8 pounds of malt that has been extracted and placed into this particular batch. This is going to make 5 gallons. And then after that, basically all that's left is the hops and yeast. The hops just add a little bitterness to it and also preserve the beer a little bit better. And the yeast is what actually makes the alcohol. Alcohol is created with the yeast reacting with sugar in an anaerobic environment. So what we'll do here is, after we finish this boil here, basically it's boiled for a total of 60 minutes after we add the extract in. You know, after we've brought both the grain and the extract up to a boil. So it's going to boil here. We're right about 35 minutes now. And then after this finishes up here, we will transport it, cool it down to about 80 degrees, because if it's really hot when you add the yeast in, it'll kill all the yeast. The yeast is extremely sensitive to temperature fluctuations like that. So we'll move it over into basically a bucket like this one back here, in fact, which has, at the top of it, you can see this little hole. So we'll cap, once we cool it down, add the yeast, we will cap it in there, and we will move it into a place that's about 70 degrees. So we've got at this point we've got all the basic ingredients in beer in. We've got the malt, we've got the hops. These are flavoring hops that I'll add in the last 15 minutes here. We've got water, definitely, and the last one we'll have is yeast, which comes in a packet like this. And we'll add all those things, and we'll basically seal it up inside one of these buckets and basically add a airlock here. This is what the airlock looks like. Basically fill this up with water up to one of these lines here, and then as carbon dioxide is given off by the yeast and sugar, what happens is bubbles form in here, releasing outside but keeping the constant volume on the inside, and that will create all the alcohol that ends up in the final beer. This particular batch I'm going to be adding about half a pound of sugar, and all these cherries will come in, but they'll be extracted before they actually go into the bottles of beer at the end. So we end up with, this is about 6 pounds of cherries. This is just cherry pie filling, so it's going to end up a chocolate and cherry flavor at the end. And this is the cap over here. So that's beer making.